presented by EA Sports and the PGA Tour. Well, hello again, and welcome, Rich Lerner, alongside my friend and colleague Frank Nobila. We are in the great state of North Carolina, set to kick off the round here at Quail Hollow. Frank, it is one of the most well-respected courses on tour.
And for good reason, Rich. Great layout. Also, we said hello to Rory McIlroy and Ricky Fowler. They recorded their first ever PGA Tour wins at this very golf course.
This one looks like it's headed right for the middle of the dance floor, Frank.
Rather nice shot, I would say. That just came out blazing. As soon as it hit the green, it was never going to stop.
Frank, chip shot here from just on the fringe. You like to hit this the way you would a putt?
Yeah, I normally take a club that's going to land just on the flat surface of the green, then run from there. Often people take too much loft.
So the second of the par four goes begging, and now I'll have to rely on the short game.
Yeah, but a short game, as we all know, can redeem a lot of mistakes. See if he does it here.
Frank, this is a really fun hole, a pretty short par three, downhill.
Yeah, half a club, you can allow for that, so it won't play its full yardage. You can really see that right part of the green. That's the most inviting one, but when they stick the flag on the left, you really have to be precise.
Regarded as a very accurate player, that shot says it all. Frank going for another birdie here.
Just to get on a real roll.
And that drops for another birdie. 2 in a row to start the round. This is a strong par four, 452 yards, the third hole. It's a good challenge, Frank.
It is. Big sweeping dogleg left. Actually in a straight line, it's 315, 320 yards to run out. So if you hit the ball further than that, it's going to have to draw. Otherwise, you'll be hitting in the rough on the other side. Still a lengthy shot into there on a green that actually has 3 different levels.
Oh, my goodness. That is on in one. Wow. What an incredible shot. Frank, I'm not saying he should pull out driver here, but this is a long putt.
Greens are fast, though. You never know. Good line, good pace. Might have a chance.
That was not a very good read right there. Getting set now over the putt. Oh, I thought he had that. Well, that would have been a bonus had it gone in, but still, reasonable chance for par here.
Yeah, there's no damage. You're not going to birdie every hole.
To -2 early in the round. Frank, this is a muscular par four here at just under 490 yards, the fourth at Quail Hollow. A difficult proposition.
It is, but fortunately that tee shot plays a little downhill. But one of the difficulties with the tee shot is the fairway kicks from right to left. So it needs a good one to keep it on the fairway, and another green that has 3 different levels.
That ball's run out certainly over 300 yards, Frank. Call it about 310. Frank, really good chance from this position to make a birdie.
Yeah, really the only thing he's looking at right now is the flag. This is a green light special.
On the green in regulation. Not a gimme, but well within his range.
Just a fraction too aggressive. Remember, line and speed go together.
Sometimes you want that birdie so badly, and all of a sudden you're faced with a lot of work, more work than you had hoped for, just to make the par. Now to the first par 5 here at Quail Hollow, the 5th hole. It's 570 yards, and it would seem, Frank, that this tee shot sets up well for a guy like Rory McIlroy.
It does. Someone that hits it long and moves the ball right to left, and that's what you're going to have to do here. One of the main reasons for that is not necessarily the dog leg, But the fact that the fairway, Rich, slopes away from you. It slopes to the right and away. So that makes that tee shot so much more difficult.
That is one of the shots of the day right there, and he will have a really good look at eagle. 11 feet away. He was fooled a little bit on that one, Frank. Well done. Another birdie, and now 3 under par. Now set to tee off at the 6th. It is a long par 3, 250 yards.
We could take a little bit off for the downhill, but whichever way you look at it, it's still going to be a beefy par 3. Protected on the left by that front bunker, and if you sort of scoot one long, there's another bunker over there as well.
This is a good-looking shot. Well, that is an exceptional shot on the green and in position for a birdie.
Yeah, it's a formality now.
He makes a lot of these. It's a birdie try for Henrik Stenson. Well, Frank, an eagle is in play here at the par 5-7.
And a 6, and a 7, and an 8, or a 9, actually. This is a potential scorecard record, the 7th hole. Many a tee shot has found that creek on the right, trees, problems on the left. There's no question there's a reward for a good tee shot here. But then there's a decision on do you go for this par 5 and 2. It's not overly long, just over 530 yards. It is very tempting.
Frank couldn't ask for anything more.
Just the lie there, too. It is sitting up like it's teed up.
Pure strike, good result.
Right, and that is close.
Well, they don't come around too often. Opportunities for eagle. You want to seize it if you get the chance. This is a good one here. Wow, I thought he made that. Oh, man.
I just pushed it.
Boy, that hurts. Frank, this would jumpstart the round. A 3rd straight birdie.
Some good playing.
Well, how about this little move? 5 under par now. 2 straight birdies. Frank, in modern professional golf, we're seeing more and more drivable par 4s, like the 8th here at Quail Hollow, 350 yards. What do you think of this hole?
It's not a bad hole. Drivable, some might say, but the angle of the green means it's hard for that tee shot to keep on the green. But I think the reward for hitting a driver is try and sort of aim at that tree just left of the green. And the reason why is then you've got to pitch up the direction of the green. This is a really narrow green.
Frank, how about that?
Oh, can you believe that, too? I mean, could have hit the flag and bounced away instead. Straight in. Amazing shot. And really deserves it.
Here we are at the 9th hole at Quail Hollow, 495-yard par 4. Frank, it is the longest par 4 on the golf course. Is it, in your estimation, the toughest?
I think the green stops it from being the toughest, Rich, because it does kick in from either side. But when you see holes like this, there's no surprise why the Rory McIlroys and the Ricky Fellas have won around here. This is just a great driving par 4.
Chance to close out the front side here with a birdie. This is a 22-foot putt. Very well done. Almost made it.
Yeah, there'll be no stress for the next one.
Settles in over the putt. Just an amazing display. The records continue to fall. Well, that was a nearly flawless performance on the front side, but Frank, we know it's an 18-hole game, isn't it?
That's right. Now's not the time to pat yourself on the back. Long and straight.
That's how you do it. Frank, this is a way to make golf easy when you can hit it that deep.
Oh, I'm going to say, I know that first number's a 3. I'm guessing the second one's a 2. Let's call it 320.
That should be pretty good right there. On the safe side. Well, that's how you play the game. Right there. And his third here at the par 5. You may have lost track at home, but we're keeping count, and that is 9 under for the day.
Frank, on this backside at Quail Hollow, a player does have a good chance to get off to a good start with that par 5 10th and now a relatively short par 4 11th, where a player with a good drive could stick a short iron in their hands.
Yeah, this is one you're going to have to make a decision. You can just play this as a straightforward dogleg left par 4 and hit a 3-wood or a long iron up there and 9-iron or something like that into the green. Or, if you want it, you can try and blast a drive around the corner. I don't know if that's the more prudent play, but it's fun.
Early part of this back 9 and a good approach shot. Now we'll have this for birdie.
Really? This is an awkward length.
Well, you're not going to make that putt all the time, but you'd like to at least get it to the hole.
If he keeps putting like that, he's going to be an announcer in no time.
Stenson has this for par.
Frank, I think the mark of a good golf course design, changing directions. We go from a right to left hole, now at the 12th, to a left to right hole.
Yeah, there's no 2 holes at Quail Hollow that look the same. And this one's slightly downhill, fairway tilts a little bit to the right, and it's a bit of a sleeper. And plus you add in on top of that 450 yards plus. This is a fairway that has to be hit.
No complaints there. In the fairway, down there about 290 yards.
Frank, we always say about Quail Hollow, you have to play with a clear head. You have to be thinking your way around this golf course. So what's the right thought process on this second shot?
Keep the ball in the right section. That front portion there, you can't afford to go long when the flag's there. Conversely, when the flag's in the back, you can't afford to be putting up and over that ridge. So you've got to be flying that ball all the way back there.
Starting to lose count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 birdies today. Wow.
Well, we've got about 135 yards left.
Safely aboard. Locked in on the read and the speed. That may have been a bit too much to ask for there, that distance putt, Frank.
Yeah, it's fine to be greedy before you hit the putt, but after you've hit it, 2 from that distance is fine.
Well, Frank, as we arrive at the par 4 14th, just 345 yards, our players no doubt are looking for a little advice from a guy who's been there. You've done it at the highest level. What's the right play here?
Rich, after all these years, I think it's like a modified tee shot. And what I'm going to say with that is like a strong 3-wood, something that pitches around 270 and kicks 30 or 40 yards, finishes up about 20 yards short of the green. I think that's the best ploy. You won't be able to get at all the flags, but I think you'll play the hole under par for the week.
When's the right time to pull out the big driver and have a go at this green?
I don't think there is, but maybe you at home should try.
Yes, he's holed it, Frank.
Unbelievable. From that distance.
Now teed up at the 15th hole. It is the final par 5 here at Quail Hollow, 577 yards. And Frank, I remember this hole well. McIlroy stiffed a 5-iron on his way to making eagle, his first PGA Tour win. That came back in 2010.
And the opportunity exists again here. Under 600 yards, plays downhill off the tee. Those 2 bunkers on the right are perfectly situated. That second one about 310 yards to it. So something straight at that one with a little draw will set up that mid-iron or long iron that has to be hit very high and uphill.
Offline, and I think that one's headed for the rough.
You have to think he'll be happy with that, given that it looked like it was headed right for the rough.
Yeah, it looked like that was the only place it was going to finish, but, well, it's a little bit unexplainable. Let's see what he does from here now. Lucky break.
This is an eagle attempt for Stenson.
At last, we have arrived at the start of one of the most daunting finishing stretches in all of golf. They call it the Green Mile, 16, 17, and 18 here at Quail Hollow. The 16th is a par 4, 508 yards, Frank.
And this hole was made even more difficult when they pushed that green further left to bring the water more in play with the second shot. I mean, it's a great par 4. It's strong in every single department.
Drivable par 4, not for most in this field, but for this guy, yes, he has just knocked it on. What a shot.
Frank, I'm not saying he should pull out driver here, but this is a long putt.
Greens are fast, though. You never know. Good line, good pace. Might have a chance.
Jeez, that one just blew past the hole. It's actually on the fringe right now. And it is in.
Amazing. Amazing.
Just 2 holes remaining here at Quail Hollow in Charlotte, North Carolina. This is the signature par 3, 221 yards, the 17th.
And they have a multitude of tees here. One of the new back tees is actually where the old 16th green was. And if you think don't go left is the way to play, then that won't work either, because right's not that much good. This is it. Stand on the tee, and you better hit a good shot.
Standing over this putt, concentrating on the read. Well, all right. Now we're on a little bit of a run. 2 straight birdies.
Here we are, the 18th hole at Quail Hollow. Simply put, Frank, a player needs to hit maybe his best tee shot of the day.
I would agree with you, Rich. If you were to measure this hole from trees on the left to trees on the right, it's actually a really wide fairway or expansive land. But that creek that just meanders its way through the middle of this hole completely changes the nature of this hole. And consequently, you hit the nail on the head. If you don't hit a good tee shot, you will rack up something here. And I've got no idea how big it will be.
Missed on that one, Frank.
Yeah, not a problem.
Frank, this would be huge.
Oh, it's got that strut going, everything. This is when that hole starts to look a little bit bigger. You really feel like you can start to make everything.
You couldn't ask for much more than that, except to make it. Just a couple of feet. Has his par. Frank, a lot to like in this performance today.
Oh, it is. There's so many positives to take out of this round. Not just the possibility to win this week, but going forward. This is